We are recording. Hi. Welcome to Bubbles Interviews. This video series is about people's unconventional career paths. I would love to understand your journey. I have a few questions. Can we know about you?
Yeah, sure. So, my name is Dana, or Jordanah VJ Girl. We together are retinal.rupture.visuals. Difficult name, but we have kept it so far for a couple years now. Beginning this journey was before I met David many years ago. It started as my mother being an art teacher. And I was in her classes for a while. I was a little kid, and I thought it was amazing. And later in elementary school, I got into the arts even at a young age, painting backdrops for the theater things and entering little contests with clay sculptures and things. And it gave me a sort of motivation. I enjoyed it. And then university, I ended up studying art for 6 years. Also an education degree, so I went into teaching and also doing my own art. So then I was in Miami, and I did paint some murals and had a studio, and also did art projects and putting my art in galleries. And I was teaching, and I eventually left and came here. And when I was here, I wasn't really doing much with my art, but I did get a job teaching art, and I was teaching private classes and in a school, painting a bit. Had a little gallery opening at one point even. That was after I
Yay.
met him. But eventually, not too long after being here, I met David, and he's been a graphics designer, graphics coordinator, had his own business at that point. And we started a little bit working together with graphic design, more like I would have some guiding eyes for him in what he was doing. And much later on, I guess I was doing some artwork for you and some designing actual, like the drawings, and he was doing the graphic. And then later we got into the VJing. So, and that was almost a surprise for us. Do you want to take it from there? How we got into things?
Sure. My name is David. I'm having a long history in printing. I don't have an art degree, which is for me always a little bit of in my self-perception. Like, yeah, are you an artist? People consider me nowadays as such. I still work in graphic coordination role, which is more like print production, procurement. But over these years, I also did a lot of graphic art, logos, house styles, in all kind of, like for anything from packaging to whatever you can imagine. But I've always been very much pulled to 3D creation because of the push to make money. I never had really time to do the things that I really wanted to do, which is creating free art, free computer graphics. Actually, before I started using a computer, I did everything by hand, and also in the printing industry, everything was photography back then. But since I had my first computer, and 368, very old, in the early days, I never kind of touched a pencil or paper anymore, and then really started to do only computer graphics.
So when you meet each other, you had different kind of skill sets, and then when it was a new thing that you explore about VJing as well, that you were in the painting and graphics design was a different from VJing. And how would you explain that transition? That how did you explore that new medium, so to say?
Yeah, it started very much in the COVID time, in lockdown time. Before that, we were actually in a phase in our relationship that we were rediscovering clubbing and nightlife again. I was always very much pulled into electronic music, and that's just before before lockdown. We met a guy in a club, a DJ that had just taken over a radio station. At the same time, in lockdown, I had time to finally do what I always wanted to do, create more creative stuff. I've been using Blender 3D for many years, so that was for me the platform that I felt comfortable in creating free art and trippy stuff. There was also a time that there was some new technology coming out in that field. So my output was weird stuff. And we met the DJ, and somebody had a projector hanging there.
Okay, then it was the experimentation
Correct.
space already. Yay.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, it was very random actually. I mean, we liked doing projects together. We had been doing freelance work together for many years already. And so I always wanted to get sort of more into the graphic side, but I was so busy with my teaching and my private classes, and we were earning, and then this sort of helped me make that jump. And besides that, the room I was using for my private classes, my son wanted to move into that room in our house. And I thought, well, when he takes over this room, I want to do something less messy. And so it all kind of coincided, right? And during COVID, I had less work to do, so I had more time to discover different software and sit and play with things. And the radio station was open during COVID, but we would have, one guest and us, or it was very, minimal, but we were still streaming. So it was a great time that I could practice. At first I was practicing on their window blinds, and from there we moved to behind the DJ and went into the stream. And then we were just very busy making art and discovering things and seeing how we could grow with it.
In your art, it's kind of performative art. How do we say what is the thing that you are exploring? That, when you observe your journey, is there a theme that you explore more than the other things in your art creation?
Well, we were making our own video clips, but we use them maybe as textures, or we always sort of add a lot of effects and different things to change things up, so they don't look so much like realism. And adding in the Blender 3D and using some AI and taking that AI and not using as I get it, often just using pictures and hundreds of pictures and creating a visual out of hundreds of pictures and making movement out of it. So not always, whatever I got from AI is not like direct usage. And I don't like it to look, some people want it more and more real, more and more realistic. I'm doing the opposite.
Otherworldly creations.
I'm completely going the opposite way. I want to take it and I want to break it down and make it look less real and more fantasy. And we play live, so most of the time when we go to do a show, we are mixing live the entire show. No show will be the same. We're going with the music. So we will play 8 hours, 10 hours, whatever the show is, with our own equipment. We bring as well. So
and then Dana is doing the most live mixing, because with her art background, she does really amazing composing. She's using Resolume, so she's heavily relying on Resolume. And in Resolume you can throw in all kind of other sources. What I'm doing right now is, like I said, Blender, and I'm using audio directly into Blender. There's not so many people doing it, because most people are relying on the Touch Designer, which is also amazing. But with Blender I can make really the look that I have in mind.
I didn't know that you could use audio in Blender.
Yeah,
that's
it's
good
not
tip
easy.
for you. They should experiment with it. Great.
Yeah, it relies on an add-on. Now I'm not a Python programmer, but it does work. So you have with Open Sound, you can just have these levels in channels. So you can low, middle, high, and you can. I'm using geometry nodes, so everything is node-based generative, and you can have any value or texture or whatever respond to audio, which is not easy, but it's really amazing. And between my art and her art, we really created our own look, or it kind of evolved our own look, which people start to recognize.
When you are creating a performance, how was the creation process? Like, do you discuss first, visualize, or just make it in all the creation process? How is in life? Okay.
It's live in the moment, really.
But it is thematic, because sometimes we're having an industrial crossbreed, really loud show with really grungy dark stuff. Sometimes we did an Afro beats, which is more colorful and organic.
Or roots.
Yeah.
Electronic violin rock and roll.
Yeah.
Or we like to do the techno shows very much.
Yeah. So it depends on the show. So we have libraries of different themes that we have created. So we have many terabytes on live on artwork for myself, and we augmented with generative live stuff in Blender in that case, or what she makes live.
Yay. I want to ask about that in 2025, June now. What are you learning right now in your art self-expression or your art journey, let's say? What are you learning more than the other things?
What am I learning? I think, well, right now I'm working on some track releases. So it's always about, track releases are different because they're recordings and you're trying to go with maybe something that's in the DJ's head about what he has created. Sometimes they just want you to listen and do your thing, and they don't want to tell you anything. This one has. So, I think as far as software, I'm not jumping into anything at the moment.
It can be also the abstract as well, like not exactly a software as well, but like as an artistic growth journey milestone. What are you learning right now? A kind of question.
What am I learning? I'm just working further and further into what we're doing. I think it's just always creating new pieces, because I am creating pieces that go into my deck, and even if I'm creating for somebody else, there are things I could use later, and I'm always adjusting and changing, and that could be in the moment, but that could be also as I'm working. So as I'm creating for somebody, like something that will be a 30-minute piece or a 5-minute piece, that journey is related to a piece of music. So it's always different. So that's where I'm always trying to key into either the sound or the emotion that's coming out of the sounds and the feelings, and trying to translate that. And it's always a process. It's always growth, because every piece is different that you're doing. And when it's live, it's intense because it's just in the moment. So I'm really, really concentrated. Like, I put him by me to talk to people. Sometimes people want to talk to you, and that's okay. I want to say hello, and
but you're really focused at the moment.
Very focused for every beat happening.
Can I ask about the community that you are building? What is it about, and how the people can find it?
It's part of a radio station we're with. We have our own little chat group, but we have because we started in the radio station.
The radio station is called Amsterdam's Most Wanted Radio. It's an old pirate that exists already for 35 or 40 years, and they started after the FM frequencies were auctioned for the commercial stations, which nowadays is horrible. A lot of underground stations went streaming, like this one, and they operate with his name since 2001. Like I said, we met the DJ that took over the initiative of the radio station just before the corona, and since then we've been building the station with our resident DJs. We have about 40 plus resident DJs that range all between drum and bass, house, techno, melodic, electro, all in that range. And we have a lot of young talent right now. We're seriously growing, and that's also the grassroots of our art. Techno itself is an abstract expression. It wasn't actually meant like dance music, like people perceive it right now. And techno music is still, for me, and I think for you also, very much a driving force for imagination.
But why it's a kind of a open community in a way that when the DJs are playing and when we're open, anybody can come and visit. You can apply to DJ. You can apply to VJ. I'm not there every night. They do have a reel that I created just for them. I do these custom pieces, so to get their feel and to adapt to the different music, I hope, through the reel. But I'm there. Sometimes I play live there on a Friday night. People can come visit. If I don't have a gig or a ton of work, we'll be there on a Friday just because we enjoy it so much. And it's free and open. You can always send us a message if you want to on our Instagram.
On the NDSM Amsterdam North.
If the door's shut or you want to come, let us know. We'll make sure it's open for you. And people come in, and it's great. We have DJs and artists and people hanging out, listening to the music and making connections. And it's a really nice space.
Yeah, and the location is unique. It is the old wharf under the ground. So it's underground. And a lot of neighbors in studios around is also are active in sound engineering,
It's
composing.
a unique spot in Amsterdam as well, in the Amsterdam North.
Absolutely,
In Noord, yeah.
Yay.
In the Helling.
Sometimes when I'm on Instagram, I see that you are having live live things, and maybe people all at first see on Instagram and then show up. That's also. Does it started from the Corona times? That how did you decided to live stream the
No,
performances?
it was already the audio has always been streaming to all the big radio apps, to me in Radio Baron, and we have been streaming on YouTube with video already before we were involved, and on Facebook, our own website, which
Yeah, you
ADE.
can go through Instagram as well.
With ADE, we're also streaming on Dance TV, which is Ziggo and KPN. This is a streaming partner, and depending on the show, then we're also streaming on Mixcloud and Twitch, and Instagram.
Everywhere on every
we're all-
platform. Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Of course, I prefer the ones where it's visual.
Of course, yay.
Yeah, which is Mixcloud, Twitch, our own website, Facebook, and YouTube.
And
Our
Instagram.
own, you mean the
Yeah.
AMW
But
website,
it
yeah.
depends on the amount of keys that you can allow OSC in. Sorry, OBS.
It's called Amsterdam's Most
Most Wanted.
Wanted.
I want to ask one question, that maybe if a person wants to start their art career, what would be a good advice to do starting with the self-expression or experimentation? Every person's journey is very unique. Though, like this, was there a learning that you had your journey about the creation?
I think you just have to start to play with something, some kind of software. Start to play with it. You never know where it's going to take you. And through just playing and messing around, which is kind of how we started,
Yeah.
you start to discover things. And don't count everything, oh, this is a mistake, that's a mistake, you know. That's how I also taught the kids at school. It's not really a mistake. What can you do with it? It's a mistake.
Yeah.
Okay, but maybe it's not. You know, how can you change it, add an effect, mix it? You know, work with what you start with, keep growing with it.
Yeah,
and
I
then
made
you're
some
gonna
video loops
yeah.
in the early beginning that I thought were horrible, and then I still using them today when
working
I
with
decided
them.
not to delete them.
And networking is important too. I mean, we were fortunate to be with the radio station. We met hundreds and hundreds of DJs, and that helps
producers
us.
and labels and other studios.
Event organizers.
Yeah.
And it's been amazing to be in that spot. So that was fortunate for us. So if you can get into a community and play for free sometimes, work with people and meet people, you know, and develop it.
And for creative development, you need to have your mind space. So it's not that you can just
gotta have a little time.
you need to allocate it.
That's
Or
right.
sometimes I have a lot of creative inspiration, but I just don't have the mind space.
Or
to
the
build,
time.
Or the time.
Yeah, you said just before the recording, in summers you don't want to create that time.
Because the sun is out, yeah, right. It also depends on your medium, because we heavily rely on computers and computer technology.
Yes.
But if it's canvas and paint, then it can be different.
Yeah.
So I have my last question. I will need to get my bag and come back because I have a small surprise in it. 1 second, I forgot about this.
surprises.
So the last question. So this is bubble centrifuge. I have bubbles here. And we make bubbles and I ask the last question, please. So
We can both make bubbles.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yay.
yay. So I will take my time to have some learning curve about the bubbles. Yeah, it's a bit windy today. So the question is, do you remember when people ask you, what do you want to be when you grow up, like as a child? What was your answer? Do you remember?
I don't think it was ever asked in my family. I mean, my dad came from a carpentry building, and then he went into education because he didn't want to, burn himself physically out. So then he went into education, construction education. But it was never really asked. I was always drawing, so then it was good as a dropout to go to the graphic school. But the graphic school was more about printing technique and printing industry, which was my background in all the different fields of offset, packaging, flexo, whatnot, screen prints. So that was my natural course.
Ah, it was your journey that
Yeah.
happened. What was your answer when? What did
when
you
I,
want
when
to
I got a little older, I did want to be an artist. Nobody wants you to be an artist, though. And when I went to university, it was sort of, what are you studying? And I went from communications to drama to art. And yeah, everyone's like, so what are you going to do?
Yeah.
So then I went back and studied education. And even though I just wanted to do art, I did go into education, art education. So I became an art teacher. So that made people happy. And also, well, of course, it was easier to survive that way.
Yeah.
But having summers off also gave me some time. Teaching on privately also gave me an idea to have a studio with somebody else, and that way get more into the art scene of where I was, and that was in Miami back then, and meeting
You're
other
from
artists.
US?
I'm
or-
from Toronto,
I
Canada,
didn't
but
know
I
that.
lived in Miami,
Okay.
and then I came here. So yeah, I've always wanted to be an artist. I guess because my mom's influence as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was a good time that you met her through art. Great,
Yeah.
yay.
And just really happy that we get to do what we're doing now.
Yay.
It's just, it feels like a real force of getting our creative energies out, and you get to do it with people that are appreciative of it, and get work. And it's amazing, yeah. And no matter what age you are, because here I am, not young, but just kept going along. And
I hope you do it for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yay. Great.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
Thank
for being part of Bubba's interviews. Have a nice day. Do. Bye.